Good evening and welcome to the final day of the Pioneer Startup Network Post Show. I am Lauren McNair next to Alexis Jennings. Let's get right into the fascinating sessions that we had today.
Let's dive into our first session. Office of CEO at VaynerMedia, Tyler Schmidt, focused on the value of sports cards and flip culture.
And that really is what this whole sports card and flip culture thing has become for me is learning markets, learning consumers, learning, arbitrage, understanding pockets and opportunities, and then being able to deploy them elsewhere. And that's been the best part of the whole thing for me. We made a big bet that this is going to be an explosion. Sports cards, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, collectibles, wrestling cards, soccer cards. And so we started doing a lot of content in and around the space. And for me, it's again really been about what I like it from a content approach is the education side of things. When I went to the National Sports Card Convention in Chicago, I think it was June 2019, that those 4 days were very eye-opening for me because I was like, there's a lot here from an opportunity perspective. And again, if people just become aware or educated on that this exists, they might not want to get into sports cards, but they might realize that their ability to be a really good chef, they could make into a money-making kind of business for themselves.
In this session, why your branding is key to scaling your startup, founder and CEO of Digital Surgeons, Pete Sina, explains the importance of building your brand and how it is important to the growth of your company.
When you're a startup founder, funding is always tight. Even if you've gone out and raised a big Series A, every dollar counts as a startup and every action counts. What we see so often is that branding tends to be the last thing that businesses focus on. All the books say product market fit. All the books say, test and learn and scale and business model canvas, lean canvas, and all that good stuff, right? And that's amazing, important things. But really, I think getting down to the heart of the problem you solve is such a critical thing. So what we see a lot is startups often forget to do that branding thing, and then they get to a point where they don't have the opportunity then or the investment, and it's too late. And it's really, really hard once that that first impression's out there and people have already made up their mind about a brand. One thing that I want to just offer up to everyone here is it's such an interesting thing when it comes down to like what you express in your product, right? So we all talk about the importance of product and brand efficacy, right? Basically a fancy way to say getting people to be singing your story for you in some cases, right? Telling your story for you and with you. What's so interesting for me when my team was doing the insights and the research and the immersion in a process we call the brand DNA, which is a mix of essence and expression. And Emily, you know this all too well now. And we, again, anybody interested in this, we release all of our stuff open source. We want to sort of spread the love. We don't want to hide any of our trade secrets and whatnot. So, hit us up and we'll share it with you, and you can download all the stuff that Emily has too. But why I wanted to share that is, I think how you offer up the expression of your product, showing that value proposition is really powerful.
To learn more about company growth and marketing, here are some helpful tips from Joe Pilkovich around keywords and searching.
If you're involved in your brand's marketing efforts, you know that leveraging the right keywords can be critical for connecting your audiences to the products, services, or content that you offer. What people actually search for, though, doesn't always match what we think it does. One exercise that we can do to help us determine what keywords to use is called What Might They Search For? In this exercise, we put ourselves in the shoes of our prospective audiences and customers and consider all of the shorthand and long-tail phrases that they might input into a search engine that will ultimately get them to your brand's website. Phrases like gluten-free snack bar reviews or best vacation spot CT are great examples of this. To begin, you'll have all participants get a Sharpie and a Post-it pad, or if you're working remotely, you can use Miro and designate Post-it colors to everybody. Setting a 5-minute timer, you'll have each participant silently come up with as many keywords and search phrases as they can think of. When the timer's up, you'll do a share out, having each person walk through their list of keywords. From there, you can use a keyword planning tool to help you determine the viability and impact of incorporating these keywords into your SEO and content strategy.
Lastly, we have a podcast with David Cohen, who sat down with Martha Crawford, Dean of the College of Business, about the startup ecosystem at SHU in Connecticut to discuss what SHU is doing to help cultivate the ecosystem, as well as Martha's take on innovation.
We decided to start a podcast about Give First because there are so many stories that are so inspirational about how people gave to the universe and got back amazing things. We have so many companies and so many occurrences that have happened in the network that it's just full of stories, and it's really inspirational. So that's what the Give First podcast is all about. Now is an amazing time to start a business. We have seen throughout the years that whenever there's economic crisis or lots of change going on, that's when the biggest companies are born. In 2009, I funded Uber, Twilio, SendGrid, and 3 other unicorns. It was a great year to be starting for those entrepreneurs because there are less people trying, there's more talent going to the good things in the market, and a lot of opportunity when there's change happening in the world.
Hi, I'm Martha Crawford, Dean of the Welch College of Business and Technology here at Sacred Heart. I just wanted to take 1 minute and present to you the West Campus of Sacred Heart University. What is it? It's the former GE global headquarters located here in Fairfield. We bought it and converted it into an amazing facility focused on experiential learning for our students, whether they're business or technology students. And it has a series of labs focused on all sorts of digital innovation. We're talking artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, AR, VR, the whole range. And we also have an iHub, which is a large co-working space, which is open to entrepreneurs. This resource, which is something which is a gem for Fairfield County and for Connecticut, is open to you as students and as faculty, as entrepreneurs from across the state. We feel that it is such a big resource that we need to open it up to you. Our vision is to create an ecosystem focused on innovation and entrepreneurship, which generates value add for the surrounding economy, but also gives our students and faculty unique opportunities to learn by doing and to get exposed to real world issues.
This concludes the Pioneer Startup Week. What an amazing week here at the Pioneer Startup Network. We learned so much watching all the great informative sessions. It has been our pleasure to host the post show. From Sacred Heart University, I'm Lauren McNair, next to Alexis Jennings. Good night and see you next time.